This battle is actually the result of a raid on Chambersburg, Pennsylvania. This area is really interconnected with the Shenandoah Valley, and that's important to know. A general called David Hunter had burnt most of the Shenandoah Valley, and in retribution, Jubal Early sent John McCausland and Bradley T. Johnson to demand a ransom of Chambersburg, Pennsylvania, or else they'd burn the town down. Chambersburg didn't come up with a ransom, so they burned the town down. So they came back through Maryland, coming back to Virginia, and when they got into West Virginia, in what is now West Virginia, they camped in this area thinking they were far enough away from any pursuers, and they were trying to get forage and rest their men. And on the morning of August 7th, 1864, they were surprise attacked by a Union force led by General William Averill and defeated. It was a rout. The battle wouldn't have lasted very long, but it was very significant. There were 420 Confederate prisoners taken, over 400 horses lost, which to us doesn't sound like a very big thing, but at that point in the war it was hugely damaging to the cavalry of the Confederacy. And in fact, Jubal Early said this was the cause of all his disasters, the loss of cavalry, and he said Moorefield had a most damaging effect on his campaign in the Shenandoah Valley. And that allowed eventually for the loss of the breadbasket of the Confederacy, Shenandoah Valley, and then eventually, of course, Richmond after that. So this, small things can have big impacts. It's what it really comes down to. The cavalry was here foraging, and that means that's what drew them so that they could feed their horses. This is, in fact, one of the few true cavalry engagements of the Civil War, which I think is interesting, where you don't have infantry soldiers really involved. But the initial phase was really a surprise. I don't know if some people may remember the Battle of Trenton, you know, where the Hessians were surprised first thing in the morning. It's probably a way to think of it. It was that type of surprise. The Confederates weren't expecting it. A running battle, yes it was. And it goes over an area probably 3 miles altogether. You know, it goes over that heading from north to south. Throughout this area, surrounding area, there would have been soldiers just sleeping. And basically with campfires, things of that nature. You would have seen wooden fences. A lot of them would sleep along the fence rows. They'd have their horses tied there as well, let their horses forage. And then up the road from Romney would have come this column of soldiers that looked like Confederates, but that were actually Union soldiers dressed as Confederates. They called them Jesse Scouts. They led the way in, and then the rest of the soldiers followed, and the attack began.